Well, we're the Dunhams. We lived in Madison, Milwaukee area up until 2015, 2015-ish. We moved up in 2016, bought our house in Neenah in 2017. When we moved into our house, the paint was falling off of the edges, or off the outside of it. And the cedar siding is beautiful, and I was determined to repair it. So I had a HEPA vacuum, and I was working on doing this paint shaver pro thing, and I had started clearing it, but it was really a lot of work, and I didn't know how I was going to get that HEPA vacuum up onto the peaks, up onto scaffolding and stuff. So it really stalled out.
People didn't want to look at the fact that there was lead. I mean, they were just like, oh, we can paint over it, or we can, it's like, but the minute you test it, then it becomes a thing. It began to be a real overwhelming task. And so then one day, she tells me, hey, she didn't even tell me about the postcard. Okay. You mentioned after we qualified, and I was like, that's not.
Oh yeah.
Can't. That's not something.
We had many quotes on siding, and that was the other thing. Like, it was like, well, we have to strip this paint. We have to figure out how to do this, because we're never going to be able to afford siding to go on our house.
Right.
And we bought the house because it was little. Yeah. It was inexpensive. It was affordable. But right. That really turned into a big project.
Man, for like 900 square feet, when you start getting quotes,
yeah,
it's overwhelming.
It's hard to know what's out there and how to take advantage of it. And we need advocates to do that sometimes, to help people. Like, people are down. When you're down, you're down. You don't think that somebody's going to come along and help you. I think sometimes, you're not looking outward, like, there's got to be something out there that can help me get out of this dark spot. I'm just gonna dig in, right. And I'm just gonna wade through it until it's over. It was one surprise after the other. Yeah. Like, wow, I can't believe this is happening.
From them keeping, their stuff tidy in the yard, to, being able to grant us access to the house while they were working. The disruption of our day-to-day life was really minimally impacted.
It was actually after the project where I thought, oh my gosh, Quinn used to play in the dirt outside the house, and fortunately it was in the front where they seemed to maintain the paint more, and I don't think the lead was in the soil as much as it would have been if he had been playing in the back. But we went and got him tested for lead, because all of a sudden I thought, oh my gosh, what if this past 4 years he's just been playing in a pile of lead and I haven't even been, taking it seriously. I was surprised to learn that the basement windows had lead, and maybe that was it too. Like, I didn't think of it being inside my house. Like, when I realized it was in the house, in the basement where he plays a lot, on our back door, which I thought, I didn't think that was lead. Those kinds of things, I think, also kind of sounded some alarms. I was like, oh, I'm ignoring this, and shouldn't have been. But because then I really started to research the things that could go wrong. High blood pressure in us, and kidney issues in us, and brain development in him. To know that it's gone, to know that his lead levels are fine after his blood test, there was nothing alarming at all. It was joyful. Every time I pull into our driveway, we actually had to replace the driveway last year because there was a bunch of water sheeting into our basement. So we have a new driveway and a new siding. So every time we pull into this house, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's like we live in a brand new home. And it's this bright white color with this black trim, and it's just so fresh and new, and it just feels so amazing every time we pull in. To know that that's not our project anymore either. Like, wow, that is gorgeous. Yeah, it improved the energy efficiency of our house. When they put the siding up, they also put foam underneath it. The house is so quiet, and the drafts, are reduced, and our energy bills will, see a be reflected in that. I can
Which is-
garden now. I put off gardening for so long because that paint was always chipping, and I was like, oh, I can't do anything around the outside of the house because I have to do something to the house. And I'm looking forward to gardening and getting flowers and that sort of stuff that I've put off for a long time.
I can kind of play in the front now without kind of feeling scared.
Scared.
Like scared that like could get to me now that I
For everything to be so fresh and safe.
It's a brand new house.
probably jump on my trampoline and flips and stuff with my friends. I can put my legs behind my head and lift myself up.
He's bendy is his thing.